we'll have RRQ versus TODAK.
It's finally time, Contra. It is finally time. The main event. Teams will fight with their lives. They will fight for their lives. RRQ against TODAK. Indonesia against Malaysia. There's no better way to start off this upper bracket.
Well, speaking of that, of course, we know that there is a huge tension between the two countries. They've been arguing who has the best MLBB players. Well, both sides, of course, supporting their own home country as well. Now it's time for them to prove a point. We're top side here, slowly taking out all these minions as we see a little bit of that sort of movement hitting into the jungle, and it will be a 1 versus 2, forcing the flicker away from Lemon.
Yeah, that is the start that TODAK wants. You want to win the macro game, you need to make sure that RRQ have no utility, have no talents to work with. And now Liam comes in with the arrival to engage. The bouncing ball to stop Nernas in his tracks, but no kills for RRQ just yet. TODAK, they hold on.
Wow, Rejuvenated being used up as well, but here comes Jago joining into the picture as well.
Chico
for the flicker! That's a big first blood hitting the hands of TODAK as we see instant reflux coming for RRQ as well. Blow for blow, Nanas arriving to the scene, but instead he's getting chased out by Jago. Is there Jago? And there we go! Another kill heading towards the back of Jago.
There was no way that Baxia could have escaped. Jago was on the way to level 4. You have the falling star to follow up regardless, but TODAK, absolutely amazing response to get that counter kill. Chico, we talk about keeping an eye on this Hellcat. That first blood was something that Lemon did not expect to happen at all.
Wow, the arrival. And every single spell was being used up in that sort of skirmish. But now, look at Liam as well as Jago pushing over the top side as well as the jungle as well. Trying to actually steal a couple of these camps, but Nanas is safeguarding some of all these camps by himself. So, of course, you don't really want to fully commit to his Baxia. And now Chiku gets a little bit of that upper hand as we see Turtle being slain. But, oh, Liam, there we go!
Liam, not gonna survive that, but the Tyrant's Rage almost kills off Nernas. Valiant attempt, great attempt in fact. The fact that the Chiku got the first spike burst on top of Liam, bringing him down to less than half health, that was why they were able to kill him off. But if any other case, I think Liam would have survived that, no problem. But now Chiku is going to get scary. 2-1-1. This early lead is going to benefit Hellcat so much, especially when they're dealing with carry. The gold grab doesn't show much difference just yet, but a little lead might be all our TODAK need. And now Jago goes for the engage. Not able to steal the buff away, but the rest of RRQ are going to collapse in Nernas. They call out with the tortoise poisons, not able to escape, but the eerie engage from Miwan. The Hurricane Dash splits Liam for the rest of his team. Lemon is Dado, jumps right in, gets stunned by Baxia. Here comes the night, the lion return up. Chico right in, and TODAK find 2.
Wow, the huge invade started off right there as we saw Liam getting pummeled out, and there was nowhere that Kufa could have escaped. And now even Lemon faltered for the second time coming to that here, staying real strong. And you know what? The 6th member of the team are definitely the crowd.
Yeah, and the crowd is going absolutely wild, and for a very obvious reason. Hurricane Dance for E1. Liam again isolated from his team. They do lose the Dyro, but to what avail? Here comes back up from Lemon, but Chico with the spike. Jago is going with the ultimate. The falling star Moon not connecting on the Chico. He gets out, but Jago can he get anything in return? Moon zoning out this Esmeralda. TODAK, they get out.
Liam here trying to re-engage as well. Here comes the knockout over onto Chico. They will take down the Hellcat and shut him off. Now Jago re-engaging and stealing some camps away. They're trying to push it all the way through and hoping for a dive. Well, Sin has managed to secure one turret for the side of RRQ. Look at S-Square though. He's going to be diving all the way to the back, and this zero is causing a lot of mayhem.
The setup for the 1-3-1 Nernas though, not in a good spot. Baxia tanky, but might not be tanky enough. Trying to walk it off, but Kufra with the time defense, he actually gets out! Nernas will survive that 4-man gank, but Turtle goes over to RRQ.
Filthy escape as we see Nernas slowly backing away, and everyone thought that he would be able to actually fall right there, but he was pretty calm. He calculated every single dot of damage in that sort of sense. Now, look at the itemization. Everyone's still trying to work their way up towards their core items up, and of course, that's going to be the first item coming out for the side of Carrie, and she's aiming for that Demon Hunter sword much later on. But look at TODAK here. 3-man in the mid lane. Same goes to RRQ. They're kind of having a same sort of a strat heading into this battle. That's why we keep seeing them lock horns time after time. And Amjago now tries to go in for some chase.
There's a bait from Nernas, but Amjago not going to go for it. RRQ, they are looking at the map right now and can see that they are TODAK going for the 1-3-1, but solo kill from Sin onto that Gyro. Now RRQ, they are looking for the opening. Nernas just get away with the ultimate, the disengage. But RRQ, they should have some confidence because of that solo kill, the 1-3-1. TODAK's specialty being exposed to a loophole.
Well, speaking of all these loopholes, definitely there's going to be a little linkage over the top side here. Flicker coming out from Chiku after the Dark Knight falls, so he will have a little bit of that sweet escape. But that will mean that the turret will be opened up, and there's a lot more space being created by RRQ.
RRQ, they're coming into the middle lane. And for the Baxia, for Nernas, not as active as Surace's Baxia from Tennis Gaming Plus. RRQ, if you're dealing with this Kufra, you have to remember there is constantly the element of surprise. That was how the re-engage 2 minutes ago caught TODAK off guard. The gold grab still is RRQ's direction. They're gonna push X-Ray back and then finish off the Tyro killing spree for Lemon.
And you were just talking about catching somebody off guard right there, and they just showed you how they do it. X-Ray now on the back foot, 0-2, and now a little bit of a tickle over the side of Moon as well. There might just be some engages heading in towards the side of Liam, but that's not going to be all too great for the side of TODAK to actually go in hastily. Now, Turtle's definitely spawning towards the lower side, which means that there's going to be some tussle in that jungle.
They're going to kill him off immediately. No way out. Mega kill for Lemon. They will try to zone out Nernas. RRQ going for this turtle. The one way to beat the speed push composition is to get those turrets early on, is to force them to team fight with a man disadvantage. And RRQ, they are doing everything right. Now, sieging on the middle lane, but guess what? They found Moon and they send Chang'e back to the Moon indeed. Chiku trying to run away with the Darkest Falls and he will be able to get out, but I Am Jago is waiting. Chiku, they want some fruits. RRQ is hungry. They will find a mega kill for the Esmeralda.
I Am Jago now 4-0. We're seeing a little bit of that change of tides as we see RRQ now getting a little bit of that slightly, only 2k of the difference, but Amjago trying to set up the dive, but there's no point engaging towards Nernas, and that's just slowly falling back. And well, over on the top end, they still have not destructed that tier 1. So for the side of RRQ, they're focusing on towards that mid lane so that they can easily roam across those jungles here. Now, starting things off, I would say that members of TODAK gotta be really careful on their positioning, because we see a little bit of that error being forced, especially when they hit for those turtles.
Exactly, and I pointed out, Dyrov not good in team fighting situation. His only purpose, his sole purpose this game is to synchronize himself with Chiku, with the Hellcat to go for those split push. But because RRQ took down all the outer tier turrets in the middle lane, TODAK has less space to work with. Lemon being knocked back into the wall by the Hurricane Dance. 3 members on top of this Tamus, but Lemon just gonna walk it off.
Well, he didn't even bother at all. He knew that they don't really have that much of a damage output. As we're looking at RRQ here, it's being pretty much well tanky in that sort of sense as well. And Amjago here soaking the damage with the Esmeralda.
Oh, the stun.
But there we go. Liam to re-engage.
Liam with the Tyrant's Revenge. Gets the bouncing ball into Nernas. He does find 3. RRQ, they know. They're going to play this slow. The split push continues from TODAK. This is where Dyrov starts to be effective, pushing out that bottom lane. You peel RRQ away from the rest of the team, you might win, but Moon, the flicker comes up, but Sin is not going to let him get away. They slay the Chang'e once again.
They were all 2 split up, and now they're also having a rival towards the bottom side, which means that the split push is rendered useless. And then that's now getting chunked out by Amjago. There's no escaping from this, but he's just buying enough time. And meanwhile, there's still something happening over mid lane.
Yeah, and the arrival also another factor. If you look at this replay brought to you by Ryu Mobile, there was nothing that that TODAK can do. They do get the kill onto a member of RRQ, but to Waterville, the arrival stops the split push. As long as you are able to match TODAK in terms of their map presence, you have no problem stopping that from happening. And X-Ray, he cannot fight. He's not ready to fight anytime just yet. Less than 10 minutes, RRQ. Size on the Lord. The Lord's going to go over to the Indonesian squad.
Certainly agree with that. And with this sort of Lord takedown here, RRQ is set to close out the game. But Lord number 1, not really all too effective if you really want to commit all 5 members to actually defend the base. It's still relatively possible for TODAK to actually hold on for dear life. But now with that sort of goal extension, about 8k in total, I'm not too sure. TODAK needs to find a way to actually come back. And first of all, they really need to focus onto at least a single target in that sort of sense. Yes, they do have some tanky units, but X-Ray, like you said, is not ready to actually hit into skirmish. He can only do 1v1s. In that sort of scenario, then are they even supposed to split right now? Because every one of these members of RRQ are slowly finding a way to break open the base.
RRQ will knock on TODAK's door, and TODAK will go with engage E1 with the Hurricane Dash, but they immediately send him back to Fountain. One down for TODAK, and there's one inhibitor for RRQ. The Lord has been slain. Nernas with Curtis Poison tries to defend, and Lemon gonna push right and beat the front line. RRQ being really patient. Nernas now caught out, and they will make Pineapple Punch from him, and the engage from RRQ will slay X-Ray for the third time in this game, and Indonesia are looking for that first crystal. They will take this opening match. Chico tried to save the game. You kill off Lemon, but gets pushed back by the Valiant. Iron Jago on the monster kill streak. They don't have the minimum wave just yet, but it's pushing in. TODAK, they need to defend 2 versus 4. Can they do it? E1 clearing out the minute as much as he can. Moon is right in the back. E1 gonna give his life for this, but RRQ size on next, size on crystal. They will take game 1.
Decisive game 1, ending off just about 10 minutes past that. And wow, what a high tempo game that we're seeing from both ends as we see TODAK, of course, starting things off over the top side. And we're also seeing RRQ responding instantaneously. I just love how they actually start things off, especially with the arrival hitting into the scene, and they manage to go on a stalemate for at least a couple of minutes, heading in towards 6-minute mark. That's where they start to actually break the silence, and RRQ, that's where they open up the mid lane and crash right after securing the lore.
Yeah, and if you take both mid lane out of the turrets, it is so easy to transition into the jungle, so easy to transition to the side lanes, and that is what RRQ did. First thing they did, right, took the priority of the middle lane, had the arrival to match with the solo laners from the side of TODAK, and at the end of the day, TODAK, that is the concern that I mentioned. They've shown so many of their cards. They played the macro game, and RRQ, perfect answer.
And now it's time for us to show you guys a little bit of statistics of our very first game of the series. Of course, the highest goal per minute will be in the hands of Carry Hero with about 949 in total each minute. And of course, being one of the MVPs here will be a lot of damage done by the Valor. Now, I really do love how this was actually being played, as we see high priority towards taking those turrets down, especially over each one of all these tier 1s, except for the top though. They take it a little bit slowly. They just focus on the mid lane as well as the bottom, and a lot of all these turtles has been slain away by the side of RRQ as well.
Yeah, and the one thing I don't like about the Dyro pick, the reason Dyro isn't a priority even when you want to go for the split push, was if you look, I believe the 3 to 5 minute mark,